Good afternoon, everyone. My name's Vicky Hennessy, and I'm the Head of Student Recruitment and Outreach at the University. I'd like to warmly welcome you all to this University of Salford graduation ceremony today. Graduates, from the video you've just watched, you will see that your relationship with the university does not end today. In fact, it is only just beginning. You are now a member of a global alumni community of over 190,000 graduates. Salford graduates go on to achieve amazing things, making a difference in all walks of life, from politics, industry, the arts, scientific discovery, to serving our communities through the health service, in schools and in public service. We would love you to keep in touch with us so that we can share in your life's journey and achievements, but also to ensure you are kept up to date on the latest benefits and services available to you as a member of our alumni network. As you cross the stage today, we'll be recording you, don't forget to smile, and you will receive an email from us in the next couple of days inviting you to download that clip of yourself. It's just a little gift to say thank you for agreeing to let us stay in touch with you. Before we get started with the ceremony, I have a few things to ask of you. Firstly, may I ask that you wear your face covering unless medically exempt for the duration of the ceremony until you are outside of the hall. Graduates, you'll be able to remove your face covering before you come up on stage, and you'll be prompted when to do so. A bit of stage management for the graduates as well. The team of ushers will be telling you when to line up to come on stage. You don't need to bring your hats with you can leave those on your seat. Now, ordinarily, when you walk across the stage, you would shake the hand of the presiding officer, but instead this year we'd ask you to nod. So when you get to the middle of the stage, the Vice-Chancellor will nod at you, just nod back. Don't forget to turn to the audience and smile for the camera. Please make sure that all mobile phones are switched to silent during the ceremony, and may I also ask you remain seated throughout the ceremony as a courtesy to other guests so everyone can see that big moment on stage. Finally, you've waited a long time for this. We've waited a long time for this. Don't forget to enjoy yourselves. Friends, families and guests, please join in with gusto, cheer, clap, absolutely bring it on. We love graduation. It's why we all do what we do, so let's make this a ceremony to remember. And without further ado, the ceremony will now begin. For those of you who are able, please stand for the entrance of the academic procession.
I declare this congregation open to present the awards of the University of Salford. Please be seated.
Graduands and distinguished guests, please welcome Professor Joe Sweeney, the Dean of the School of Science, Engineering and Environment.
Thank you and good afternoon. Don't you all look smart? Are you excited? Are you excited? Okay. So welcome everyone today. It's a real pleasure to be here, and it's a real pleasure to actually be here. It's great to see you all after what's been a long time. I welcome everyone today, our graduands and your families, friends, partners and supporters. I also welcome our distinguished guests and my school colleagues to this graduation ceremony. Congratulations. We are here to celebrate you and what you've done, all your achievements. You're going to leave here today as University of Salford graduates, the end point of the first part of your student journey. It's really been an honor and a privilege for me and my colleagues to work with and alongside you. It may not always have seemed like that, but we admire all of our students in different ways. We've seen the hard work that you've put in to get to this position. I and everyone in the school and the university are deeply proud of you, and for a number of reasons. First of all, we're proud of your work ethic. Talent is important. We saw that in a football game last night that I won't mention. But talent is nothing without effort, and the amount of work that is required to get to this position cannot be underestimated. Sometimes you will yourselves have underestimated how much work has been involved. We don't. We know how hard you've worked to be able to get the achievements that you have, and we've watched with admiration as you committed yourself to those studies with dedication and purpose. The second thing we're proud of is the way you've responded to the challenges thrown up by a once-in-100-years medical crisis. The COVID pandemic has been a meteor impact in all of our lives, and the effect upon your lives and your studies has been dramatic. Despite all that, you've risen to the challenges and you've persevered and you've fought your way to make it into this room to become University of Salford graduates. And we admire you and we celebrate your strength in reaching graduation in spite of what life has thrown at you. One of the reasons that you're here is that you've engaged into a partnership with us. Any successful academic experience is only possible through partnerships. Your partnership with our academic and administrative teams, partnerships with industry experts who've helped us design the courses, partnerships with other bodies that accredit our courses and tell you that they're at the standard that you need to go on and get those jobs and careers that you need in the future. And also the partnerships with local and national societal organisations that you have worked in and brought benefits to. Salford students contribute a lot outside the university, change people's lives in ways that can't be quantified. We thank you for all of that hard work and commitment, and we want you to know that we think you've been superb ambassadors for the school and the university. Finally, as you've heard in the video, we're proud of you as the newest members, nearly, of the Salford family. Today you're going to join a diverse, talented and distinguished alumni family. We hope you're going to stay in touch and come back and tell us about all the great successes that you're going to have. Someone once said that education is a matter of life and death. I don't like that attitude. I can assure you it's considerably more important than that. As someone from a council estate in Huyton who was first in Falmouth University, education changed my life. We hope that we've changed your lives for the better, and that using that development, you're going to go on and help change other people's lives. We're sure that you will do that. And we in the school and the university wish you the best of luck for whatever futures you have in front of you. I'm sure they're going to be glittering. Don't forget us, because I can assure you we will never forget you. Okay, it's been a great year despite what's gone on in the background for the school, but it's also been a great year for the university. And so I'm very proud to introduce the presiding officer for this ceremony, the Vice-Chancellor, Professor Helen Marshall.
Thank you very much, Joe. Distinguished guests and graduates, as Vice-Chancellor of the University, I'm absolutely delighted to welcome you here, and I'm more delighted to see you here. We've waited a long time to get back to face-to-face ceremonies like this, and we're here today to congratulate you as our next generation of graduates and to wish you well and tell you how proud we are of all the things you've achieved. And you're about to start the next chapter in your life. So today marks the culmination of many years of hard work, not just the years that you've done at the university, but the years that you've done before that to get to the university. It's a long, long journey to reach this pivot point, this pivotal moment, culmination of many years of hard work. So it's a pleasure and a privilege to welcome you and your friends and family here today to celebrate what you've achieved. So some of you will have travelled down the road, some of you will have travelled a long distance, but I'd like to say a very warm welcome to everyone who's come here today to support our graduates, to celebrate what they've achieved. So you've been through a very different experience to what would normally happen. Normally you'd come along, you'd have 3 years, or if you're doing postgraduate, you'd have a year, face-to-face teaching, lab-based this, all the rest of it. But it's been a very tricky best part of 2 years, which will have covered different years in your student experience. And some of you will think, oh yeah, it wasn't what I thought it was going to be, wasn't as good as that. But take away the positives. You've come through an incredibly challenging time. You've built resilience. You've learnt different ways of learning. You've learnt different ways of having to live, pressures on you, all sorts of different things. Take those as useful tools as you move on to the next part of your life and start your next career. Whether you're moving into further studies or whether you're moving into a job, doesn't matter. You've built a huge, huge bank of tools of life over and above that which you've learnt in your discipline to actually go out there and make a difference. Now, my own career started many years ago, even though I'm only 39 really. And I sat in an audience like you, waiting for the Vice-Chancellor to stop rambling on so I could get across the stage and get my degree certificate. And I remember, the one thing I can remember is looking down at my shoes and looking at the stage and the steps and thinking, why have I put 6-inch stiletto heels on today to go up and down that stage? And that my one lasting memory of graduation is the shoes, which seems a bit daft. So I'm just flagging it to you ladies. If you've got those shoes on, just be careful going up and down the steps. And one of my other memories of being a student, because I was fairly, shall we say, a little bit naughty when I was a student. We did a sponsored hitchhike for cancer research charity. And depending on how many miles you managed to hitchhike, people sponsored you so much a mile. And my 2 friends and I, we ended up in the Netherlands. And we thought we'd done really, really well until we tried to realise that we hadn't figured out how we were going to get home again. So we turned back up. I was at a law school. I turned back up at the law school 3 days late. And we were in so much trouble with the teachers, with the lecturers. But those are the sorts of things I did. I left university, went into legal practice. I was corporate law. That's what I was interested in. Mergers, takeovers, competition law, corporate law. Went to a big legal practice in Cardiff. Told I was going to go into the corporate law department. Ended up in probate. And then, best part of 6 months in, I got shifted into family law. And I said, whoa, hang on a minute. Hang on. What about the corporate? Well, you're a woman. You're better off in the family law department. And I said, well, forget that. And I left. And I managed to get a postgraduate scholarship at the University of Birmingham with a guy called Bob Pennington, who was doing a lot of research for the government on mergers and takeovers. And back in the day, this is the 1980s, company mergers were only regulated by stock exchange regulations. There was no proper legislation. And they needed to do a whole raft of research on what was then EU competition law and legislation in terms of regulating mergers. Because we had, shall we say, shell companies set up in Luxembourg who would come over and buy the shares of Company X in the UK. The shares would be worth 5 million, but the assets of Company X would be worth 10 million. So you could buy £5 million worth of assets for nothing. And they were sneaky background manoeuvres. And so getting all that regulated was the work I did. And at the same time, they gave me some teaching to do. And I thought, wow, I really enjoy this. And that's how I got into an academic career. It was quite by accident. Did I think I'd ever be stood here as the Vice-Chancellor of this fantastic university? No, I didn't. But every time I had a job, I did the very best I could and pushed the envelope. And then I thought, right, okay, this is all now pretty routine. What's the next step in my career? And then push the envelope in the next challenging job. And then, okay, what's the next step in my career? And then I got the job here at Salford and became the Vice-Chancellor. And it's challenging. And it's been incredibly challenging for all of us over the last 2 years. because of COVID and trying to do the things we're trying to do. But one of the things I've observed in my life is 3 different kinds of people. People who make things happen, people who watch things happen, and people who wonder what just happened. Now, you've got to go out there and figure out which one of those you're going to be. Okay? So, through COVID, it's been challenging. Government guidance has not always been timely. There's been a lot of flip-flopping, and the guidance that's come out at times has been very headline, and we haven't had the detail that we've needed, and we've had to flip things over at times within 24 hours. It's been quite challenging. But the staff at the university have been fantastic, and the students have been fantastic in the way that you guys have engaged with it all. And at the same time, and the team were not exactly polite when I told them all this to me, I said, look, we've got to sort COVID out. We've got to keep the student learning experience as good as we can possibly get it, and we've got to continue with our strategic objectives. Because we can't come out of COVID in 2 years' time, 3 years' time, and look back and think, oh dear, we missed a chance. So we've kept going. And if you walk around campus now, you will be on campus and walked around, you can see the amount of work that's going on. We've got a new science and engineering building, and it would be great to welcome you guys back to have a look around it, which is very much 21st century designed for 21st century science and engineering. A new Energy House 2, with just 4 steel safes this time instead of 1 steel safe. We've just dug up the foundations for the Northwest Industrial Robotics Centre to work with industry in the Northwest to improve productivity by automating, bringing robots in different kinds of ways into the function of industry in the Northwest to improve productivity. And you'll have seen the flowers growing out of the buildings on campus, and that's the Ignition project, looking at how we can be more zero carbon. And if you go around by the roundabout by the station, you'll see the new Barrett House, the Z House, and that is a zero carbon emission Barrett home. And we're experimenting with it with Barrett Homes in order to say, well, actually going forward, this is how you make houses. You build houses, zero carbon. So we're doing a lot of work with industry, And one of the exciting things that we've got coming up on the north of the campus, on the northern edge of the campus, we've got a potential science and innovation zone. And we've just landed in the comprehensive spending review, £13 million to build what we're calling the Salford Rise, which is basically a flyover from the campus all the way over the railway line to Frederick Road to land in that innovation district. It's a walkway, it's a boardwalk. We're going to put some picnic tables and some grass on there as well. But it will join Frederick Road, the innovation zone, and the Peel Park campus up. And what we want to build on that Peel Park, on that edge between Peel Park campus and the innovation zone, is what we're calling the collision zone. How do we collide Industry 4.0 and all those companies that are growing their businesses in that area with academia and get applied research and applied innovation on the ground and be leading edge? We've got a lot of tools in the toolbox, and we just need to land that. So we've done some fantastic stuff in COVID, and the team have worked incredibly hard, not just to land all the COVID issues, but actually keep the strategic initiatives going. A lot of universities have parked those, so while they've been parking and sitting on their hands, we've just been grabbing the money, thank you very much, and we have grabbed a lot of money. So it's really, really good for the university going forward. We've got a lot of achievements with our Salford graduates. Hannah Russell, MBE, she's secured bronze and gold medals in the Tokyo 2020 Paralympics. Craig Easton was named Photographer of the Year by Sony World Photography. Nicolette Peel was made an MBE because she created something called a charity called Mummy's Star, which supports pregnant women with cancer. And Maeve O'Sullivan completed the MA in Children's TV Production, was awarded a BAFTA Film Award for a film that she made. We've got some really exciting achievements amongst our new graduates. But it's about today, and it's about you. And it's also about the people who've supported you on your journey through your course. And I would like to invite you all to please stand, graduates. Please stand for a minute, just the graduates. And please give all our colleagues here who have supported you on your journey a round of applause for what they've done for you. And a very second round of applause for friends and family who have supported you. And my 2 daughters went to university, and I know what support looks like. Support looks like that, as well as love and comfort. So a big round of applause for all the friends and family who have supported you as well. Okay, please be seated again. Thank you. Now, you're at a pivot point in your Salford journey. One of the things that we don't want to happen is to lose you. We really want you to become part of our alumni network. And that we've got a number of people within our alumni network who are now working with us in different ways. And it's positive, it's win-win for both sides. So please join the alumni network. Please keep in touch with us. Please keep in contact. If there's things we can do to support you and help you, we will do them. And there may be things that we're doing, then you look at it and think, well, that's actually quite interesting in terms of my job and my career, and get involved back with us. So the whole world is working to build a better and brighter future right now. People talk to me about Industry 4.0, and hundreds of years ago, when first industrial revolution happened. We're now in the 4th industrial revolution. And I keep saying to people, well, how long do you think it's going to be before we're in the 5th industrial revolution? It's not going to be 100 years, because things are moving at such a pace. We're going to be industry in 5.0 within a decade, and things are moving at that pace. Learning is a lifetime journey now. You can't come out. My eldest daughter's a doctor, and she's telling me now things she learnt when she was a student as a doctor. It's all gone. Completely different ways of working. And you've got to continuously learn. And anything we can do to support that, we're doing a lot of work now around micro-credentials and short courses. So anything we can do to support you in that, please let us know. So I'm going to finish by saying to each and every one of you, be proud of what you've achieved. Be bold in your aspirations. The future is now yours to make and take. And as we like to say at Salford, go out there and become unstoppable. Congratulations to each and every one of you. Thank you.
We will now commence the presentation of the Postgraduate Awards from the School of Science, Engineering and Environment. Each student will be presented individually for their award. I'd like to invite Dr. Ian Goodhead, Associate Dean of Research of the School of Science, Engineering and Environment, to present the PhD Awards.
Vice-Chancellor, on behalf of the School of Science, Engineering and Environment, I present for the award of Doctor of Philosophy for their work on the influence of national culture on health and safety performance in Kuwait oil and gas sector construction projects, Mohammed Al-Mutari. For harnessing the real estate market for equitable, affordable housing provision in Nairobi, Kenya, insights from California, USA, Bernard Nzao. For multi-scale detection, mapping and modelling geomorphic change in gravel bed rivers with UAV remote sensing, Rory Scott. Towards forecasting and prediction of faults in electricity distribution network, a novel data mining and machine learning approach, Hethanadura Charith Eshan Silva. A fourth way, the role of cultural heritage in embedding place-driven innovation, Claire Devaney. The implementation of quality culture in Iran's oil and gas industry, Mohammed Nagi Maleki Sadabad. And for exploiting available domain knowledge to improve the retrieval and recommendation of digital cultural heritage materials, Mahmoud Ahmed Usman.
will now continue the presentation of the Postgraduate Awards from the School of Science, Engineering and Environment. Each student, again, will be presented individually for their award. I'd like to invite Dr. Gerard Wood, Associate Dean, Academic Quality and Enhancement of the School of Science, Engineering and Environment, to present the awards.
Vice-Chancellor, on behalf of the School of Science, Engineering and Environment, I present for the award of Master of Science Research, Acoustics and Audio Engineering, Michael Howard. Master of Science Research, Biological Sciences, Renata Apretuzzi. Master of Laws, Construction Law and Practice, Anthony McCormick. And James Ronald Peacock. Master of Architecture, Thomas James Ford. And Daniel Mark Marinon. Master of Science, Advanced Control Systems, Ala Alassour. Kelvin Collins. Asfar Ali Haider. And Mohammed Wakas Khan. Master of Science, Advanced Mechanical Engineering Design, Krishna Kamlesh Panchal. Master of Science, Aerospace Engineering, Ibrahim Faisal Faisal. Master of Science, Audio Acoustics, Peter Howe. And Tom Lawless. Master of Science, Audio Production, Robert Madison. Master of Science, Autonomous Systems, Salome Talavera. Master of Science, Biomedical Science, Victor Chukwudi Menkiti. Maureen Fatima Inua. Jui Patel. Alireza Safai. And Swetha Vishnu Panika. Master of Science, Building Information Modelling and Digital Built Environments, Rania Al-Hakim. Jermaine Ezekiel Bennett. Alex Mutathia Mbabu. Rosa Nozad. Melinda Salloway Royal. Jason Wilson. Safa Al-Bazoun. Tristan John Byrne. Lewis Ross Dewell. And Mohammed Jihad Taglebi. Master of Science Building Surveying, Radoslav Ivanchev. Mamane Mabika. James Regan. Master of Science, Construction Law and Practice, Brian Bergin. And James Carter. Master of Science, Construction Management, David Addison. Huthaina Al-Hadrami. Abir Al-Harbi. Jamila Al-Muwail. Frances Elizabeth Barlow. Mohammed Amir Al-Baz. Andrew Donnelly. Kevin Michael Douch. Grant Diamond. Rusul Farjawi. Nicola Richardson. Nicole Borisova. Paul Corns. And Eric Denter. Master of Science, Cybersecurity, Threat Intelligence and Forensics, Agli Mariam Thomas. Master of Science, Data Science, Rama Al-Kechi. Akililu Yitbarek Karsai. Jemima Ann McKay. Samanthi Sembakutigi. Abigail Taylor. Kenneth Coyote Adebayo. Mohammed Anas Alambilaseri. Dan Ifianyi Ali. Haris Rana Arshad. The Joshi Eluri. Toba Theophilus Fasade. Imafiden Gift Jesurobo Owe. Apologies. Siddhant Kaushal. Ungoyan Nat Kwangla. Aliro Desmond Lanray Oyebola. Thomas Maidley. Elton Nyasha Mungani. Madhavi Nuncherla. Ayodeji Raphael Ogunlami. Omosalewa Olamiposi Amoya. Kingsley Odeware Osazua. Priya Ramesh Kumar. Elliot J. Royal. Devendra Pratap Singh. Chito Ogakuchu Umbemba. Shalani Nimashika Wikramanayake. Master of Science Data Telecommunications Networks, Georgios Oikonomidis. Master of Science Drug Design and Discovery, Daria Aziz. Iraj Jenanzeb Khan. Hansani Thejankala Lekam Wasam Liyanagi. And Sarah Zamir. Master of Science Environmental Assessment and Management, Holly Quincy. Herfer Lua Ayatunde Asinyabi. Awamazino Pearl Abiri. Master of Science Gas Engineering and Management, Godwin Deji Ero. Buhari Aminu. Steve Gordon Critchlow. David Ian Tomkin. Master of Science, Health and Global Environment, Georgia Frost. Master of Science, Occupational Safety, Health and Wellbeing, Helen Jane Quirk. Master of Science, Parasitology, Jacob Robert Strefford Johnson. Master of Science, Parasitology, Biomedical, Julia Evans. Rebecca Slugoki and Lucy Rose Thomas. Master of Science, Parasitology, Wildlife, Olivia Hines. Master of Science, Petroleum and Gas Engineering, Utianli Helena Agba-Atta. Matthew Gorman. Gladstone Francis Ukioma. Organde Martins Mbachi. Fabian Charles Umoran. Master of Science, Project Management in Construction, Daniel Martin Abbott. Khalifa Aleidan. Sarah Al-Khatib. Musab Al-Salili. Zara Ashkanani. Leanne Croft. Sanaria Dashti. Kyle Harvey. Ali Mashari. Tyler Wayne Scott. Pushpitha Ashen Angelo Withana Withanagi Don. Master of Science Quantity Surveying, Avani Venugopal. Scott Agunopi. Kolawole Michael Akanbi. Sophie Elizabeth Bailey. Robert Bramwood. Clayton Carr. Adam John Dyer, Rebecca Ellender, Taylor Graham, Krishnanuni Madhusudhanan, Samantha Macoliso, Rutendo Maniundwa, Rebecca O'Connor, Oluwole Oladele Akadero, Sam Pendlebury, Karam Singh Sander, Annika Shah, Lauren Stewart, Christian Williams, Master of Science Real Estate and Property Management, Shumon Chowdhury, Philip Grundy, Samuel Lowe, Charlotte Laura Worthington, Victoria Brimelow, Adiba Farrar, and Junaid Hack. Master of Science, Safe, Healthy Environment, Umfanobong Edet Moses, Joshua Adekunle Afolabi, Samantha Banfield, Kieran Hodson, Neil Hutchinson, Gabriella Jane Keogh, Nkwaputo Magodonga Malangu, Lillian Namwaze, Jumoke Tosin Olalunde, Timilehin Olaposi Olawoyin, Olamide Christiana Onosu, Stephen Oyu, Arti Babashaheb Patil, Megan Mary Tiernan, Rebecca Tilsley, and Rollo Barnaby Wilson Wood. Master of Science, Science Communication and Future Media, Hannah Lacey. Master of Science, Structural Engineering, Wesam Boshahama. Master of Science, Sustainability, Simone Mattiono. Rebecca Macklin. Benjamin Thacker, Curtis Jean-Paul Thacker, and Thomas Walton. Master of Science, Transport Engineering and Planning, Paul Gibbon. Laura Francis Waring, and Fatima Al-Maroufi. Master of Science, Wildlife Conservation, Jessica Catherine Dahl. Emily Foster and Thomas Newbury. Postgraduate Diploma, Construction Law and Practice, Julian Thorpe. Postgraduate Diploma, Transport Engineering and Planning, Felipe Jaramillo. And Postgraduate Certificate, Aerospace Engineering, Andrea Bonsu.
We will now commence the presentation of the Undergraduate Awards from the School of Science, Engineering and Environment. Each student again will be presented individually for their award. I think he's had a quick drink of water, so I would like to again invite Dr. Gerard Wood, Associate Dean, Academic Quality and Enhancement of the School of Science, Engineering and Environment to present these awards.
Vice-Chancellor, me again. On behalf of the School of Science, Engineering and Environment, I present for the award of Master of Engineering, Aeronautical Engineering, Matthew Thomas Burden. Master of Engineering, Aeronautical Engineering with Professional Experience, Fei Lin Chin. Master of Physics, Michael Ashworth. Alexander David Code. Scott Hindle. Jake Gerard Demain. James Edward Spender. And Master of Physics with Studies in North America, Bill George. And Samuel Martin Hoare. Thanks. For Master of Science, Biomedical Science, Sushma Bhavani Pulipati. Master of Science, Project Management in Construction, Olawadi Milola Ajibola. And Abdullah Alazimi. And finally, and my sincere apologies to Joseph because I missed him out on the original list. Joseph, my apologies. So for Master of Science, Environmental Assessment and Management, Joseph Walker.
Graduates and guests, that concludes the presentation of the awards. Jed, you can have a lie down now. Before I invite the Vice-Chancellor to close the ceremony, please can I ask all guests to remain seated until all of the graduates have left their seats. I would now like to invite the Vice-Chancellor, Professor Helen Marshall, to close the ceremony.
Well, fantastic to see you all going across the stage. No one stumbling too much. Really, really lovely, and congratulations. On behalf of the University of Salford, I should offer my sincere congratulations to each and every one of you. Please can I ask everyone in the room to join me in a round of applause for our graduates this afternoon. Now I'd like to ask all the graduates to please stand. University of Salford graduates, you are now officially graduated. Put on your hats. I now declare this congregation closed. Could I ask everyone in the room to please stand for the procession? Thank you.